Hello, konnichiwa, hola, hola everyone, welcome to the stream. My name is Leo, I'm your resident demi-vampire singer and professional simp. And today, we're continuing Lake of Voices. Hello. So, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't remember where we left off last time. I think, oh yeah, now I remember. So last time, we are like this group of travelers that need to cross a certain bridge for reasons yet not revealed, I guess. Like, we haven't been told why. I think we need to rescue someone, like our party needs to rescue someone, but the third member of our team or group hasn't really revealed why they need to cross. And it is specified at the beginning of the game that no matter what you do, you can't save everyone. So there will come a point where one of the members of your party, or at least someone that you find on the road maybe, will die. So it's basically a game all about making decision. And last where we left off, and there are these monsters on like this bridge or surrounding this bridge that sometimes come onto it and stuff. So yeah, those are the ones that we need to take care of for now. But last where we left off, we reached like the middle point of the bridge, and we are now like resting supposedly on a nearby like spot or island question mark. So yeah. So without further ado, let us continue, shall we? Let me check the history real quick to see if like there's the context before this message, so I can like remember a little bit better. Our main character, his name is Kika, by the way. And there's a fourth character who is the guide, who's the one like trying to guide us through the bridge. But he will not hesitate in leaving any of us behind if we don't do as he says. Okay, yeah. So it's just that we arrived at like the middle point and then we were all relieved. And now we continue our little journey. My eyes slowly blink open and readjust to the brightness, what little there is. The sun is obscured by a thick layer of fog, making it impossible to estimate the time of day. I prop up my elbows and push myself up. The ground is hard and rocky, but that isn't the only reason I am eager to get on my feet. I check my surroundings. The harsh, craggy earth of the island is interlaced with twisting vines and gnarled branches. Beside me, I've already forgotten how to pronounce his name, Bemele, and Margaret are still fast asleep. The guide, however, is nowhere to be seen. I realize that I don't recall seeing him lay down with everyone. It's likely he left us hours ago. There is a creeping silence here. I can't help but shudder at the hollow, aching feeling inside of me. It refuses to relent. I shift my weight back and forth, unsure what to do with myself. Memories of last night's harrowing journey flicker through my mind. The melee wakes suddenly, raising the alarm and startling Margaret awake as well. My mouth opens and shuts, and after a moment of fumbling, a word finally escapes. The melee gives me a gentle smile and makes its way over to me. Margaret follows suit.
Morning.
Is it even morning anymore?
Who knows? Oh yeah, she lost her glasses. That's gonna be a problem. Margaret tries to speak lightheartedly, however it doesn't do much to improve the mood. A pocket of quiet descends over us.
We should eat something soon. Margaret, do you have enough supplies?
Yes, I think I'll be alright with what I have.
That's a relief. The two of us have plenty of rations, though, so if you need anything, you can always ask.
Margaret sighs and presses her fingers to her temples, acting as if she's fed up with us.
You know, the two of you need to stop looking out for everyone else so much.
Emily winces at the statement without vocalizing what's on his mind. Margaret and I share a glance. This is about the person we left behind yesterday. The person we didn't help.
I'm sorry. I didn't intend.
It's not your fault.
It goes quiet between us once more. Yeah, but he... Oh, there he is. But that guy didn't seem like... He didn't even want to be saved, or at least he acted like it. So not my fault. And the guide would have left us, so we would have just died, I feel like. A distinct rustling of the leaves around catches my attention. The guide appears, emerging from the thicket. Margaret appears to be a little uncomfortable at his return. Bemele glares at him as he makes his way over.
The Nixie will not tread on land in daylight. However, being near the shoreline is still dangerous. If you leave the center of the island, remain cautious.
Huh.
Before the sun sets, I will be in this area. It would be wise to meet me.
But how do we know? Like, it has been established that we don't know what time of day it is. I sharply turn towards Bemele as he snarls and confronts the guide.
If you would just let him follow behind us, he would be alive.
The guide looks away, seemingly unaffected.
If all you're going to do is leave everyone to be lost, then why bother guiding us?
Shut up! He's not gonna... Despite Bemele's severe words, the guide apparently considers his piece here finished. He turns towards the forested area from which he came.
Wait.
Bemele calls out to the guide, reaching towards him. Before he can make contact, I quickly place a hand on his shoulder. He lowers his arm to his side, though I can still feel wrath emanating from him. We stay this way until the guide disappears from view. Bemele begins to kick at the ground, spraying tiny pieces of gravel about.
Bemele, I know you're angry, but regardless of our feelings, we need the guide.
Yep.
If he leaves us, we'll all die.
And we've done so well with him.
I give him a cold glance. We won't even know which bridge to take without the guide. Bemele knows that. This needs to stop. There are people counting on us to make it back. And what of Margaret?
We can't afford to lose our way.
The anger etched into his expression fades into sadness.
You're right, Kika. You're right.
He weakly swats his hand in front of his face, as if he's trying to shoo away his racing thoughts.
I can't stay here right now.
Don't get near the shore, though. I like his leaves. I'm just noticing that he has like a pattern of like leaves and branches on his leaves. I nod, allowing him to leave alone. Beside me, Margaret releases a sigh.
Are you alright?
No, I'm not. Nothing is alright. It will never get any better.
Margaret sucks in a breath as she starts to get emotional. Before it can spill out of her, she turns on her heels and walks off in a direction different than the guide's. Quietly, I speak. Save. I'm going to speak with the guide. I have to see Mel. I need to be alone. I need to see Mel, because I have a feeling he's gonna go near the shore. Lingering for only a moment, I start following the trail Bemele took. It doesn't take him long to notice I'm here, and he slows his pace, so I can easily catch up. We fall into a step. Yeah, because he said he just needed not to be there, not that he didn't... not that he needed to be alone, so that's good. We fall into step for a short while, neither of us speaking. Eventually, we come to a thick stand of trees, and wordlessly wave our way through the branches. Once we're hidden by the foliage, Bemele leans against a tree trunk, head hung low. Negativity radiates off him, but I don't know what I should say. Fortunately, he breaks the silence.
I apologize for back there.
I nod firmly. His reply isn't unexpected, for as long as I have known Bemele, he has had a tendency to let his temper flare, then regret it later, after processing his thoughts.
I know that dealing with these sorts of situations calmly is part of the job. I cannot tell myself everything is fine, that none of it matters.
Because it's not like that, but you need to keep going.
Sure, I can feel something without it being anger. But I've not figured that out either.
Rather than speak, I try to listen as supportively as I can while Bameli continues to argue with himself. His eyes swell pensively, rubbing the bridge of his nose.
Am I simply being foolish? Would it really have been so harmful to try and help someone else instead of focusing solely on oneself? It looks to me like we're telling ourselves these lines to avoid responsibility.
Yeah, a little bit. We could have helped. We could have tried. But how urgent is our
I
mission?
don't know. It's possible you helping would have worked better. It's also possible it would have been worse.
Yeah, exactly. We don't really know. It's 50-50. But Malay stares across the empty waters of Sinlos.
I want it to be clear that I have not forgotten that those people across this lake are depending upon us. Not for a moment. But
How
would they
wonderful.
want us to be so focused on them that we should turn a blind eye to others right in front of us?
I don't know.
Even if they would, does that matter? We are more than weapons. We are people. Do we have to cast that aside? Turn away from our fellow humans just to achieve a so-called greater good? It is not as though this village is a haven of saints. They are only as worthwhile as we are, and these people on the bridges with us, aren't they?
Then what about the monsters?
I don't know.
I can feel the weight of his words settle upon me. I have had similar thoughts and have questioned what the correct choice is. But unlike Bameli, I have always been silent. I clench my fists tight to try and stop from saying something rash. Bameli closes his eyes tight and rubs his face again. It is clear this hasn't been enough to give him much peace. Eventually, his eyes reopen and look directly into mine.
What do you think about all this, Kika? Please, be honest with me.
I feel like I need to save. I want to hear it. Suddenly, my eyes are hot. My vision blurs slightly from tears I desperately am trying to hold back.
I really don't know. That is the truth.
My words are soft, whether he heard it or not. The look on my face is enough to garner attention. His eyebrows shoot up in surprise. He walks over to me slowly, concerned.
Kika, what is troubling you?
I don't have the answers to what you were wondering. Who are we meant to protect? Everyone we can?
Oh, she does have tears in her
Are we
eyes.
told to serve and no one else? Just ourselves? Should we only try to protect others when the risk is minimal? I have no idea what the right option is.
Bameli's confusion only mounts with my words.
I am sorry for disappointing you.
No, you haven't disappointed me in any way. I never should have expected someone else to give me answers to those kinds of questions. It is only... I did not think that...
He does not finish his thought, but I know what he meant to
I
say.
did not think I was concerned with these issues.
He smiles awkwardly over being caught.
Yes. You never seem to be bothered by anything we experience.
That's
now.
the charm, my guy. That's part of the charm. That's the secret. Pretending like you don't care at all times. That way no one can read you. With his words, my carefully held resolve crumbles. In an instant, my cheeks are wet with hot fluid cooling in the chill air as it slips down my face.
Always cared. I've always been afraid and confused, but I have kept up a...
I stop and gasp for air, my throat almost as tight as when we were running off the bridges. Like, it's good.
of strength in order to get by.
Like, it's good that she's decompressing, but I'm kind of, like, worried that this is gonna backfire. That she's showing that she actually is not this, like, quote-unquote emotionless person that doesn't really get fazed by anything. Is gonna, like, backfire some way horribly. I breathe deeply with relief, terrified and lightheaded from my confession. Mameli's voice is as delicate as flower
I
petals.
had no idea. How could I not have noticed?
Because that was the point!
Because I did whatever I could to make sure no one did. I have never wished to appear weak in front of others. But the truth is, I barely get through each day. I often feel overwhelmed with sadness at all that we have experienced.
Man. I can relate a little bit to what Kika has said. Man, I don't like that. Bemeli gently places his hands on my shoulders as I try not to sob wildly.
Kika, I truly apologize for all the thoughtless things I have said to you.
I shake my head, sniffling.
There is no need for you to apologize.
He smiles, the warmth almost enough to make me forget the
I
damp.
beg to differ. I have failed to treat you right.
You have always been respectful.
A person needs more than respect from their comrades. They also need support.
But I was the support,
I've never given
that's
you
why.
that kind of consideration because I believed someone like you did not need it.
The same could be said for me.
Nonsense. You have listened to my rambling on more occasions than I can
I mean,
remember.
true.
Though I admit my memories may not be there due to being drunk many of those times.
Okay. So they do know each other from a while back then. Because at the beginning of the game, it gave me the feeling that they had just kind of met. That they had not been like partners for this mission that long. Or that they didn't know each other beforehand. Interesting. Bemeli laughs at himself while glancing in my direction to encourage me to do the same. His comforting words make me smile, and I feel my tears finally cease to fall. Then I will continue to support you. Still, it is not necessary. Then I will continue to support you. He grins wider than he has since we began this horrible journey.
You have my thanks.
And you have mine.
I like the formal speech of like, you have my thanks. I don't know why. Abruptly, his expression becomes serious once more.
I will come to answer these questions someday. But no matter what I decide, I will still put trust in your judgment.
I fear I may not live up to the belief he seems to have in me, but I nod firmly. I'm just trying my best, dude. He returns my nod.
Perhaps we should go check how everything is on the island.
That sounds like an excellent idea. And I will accompany you, of course.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, I would be worried if you didn't follow behind. Like, please? Together, we walk back towards the interior of the island. Both of our moods lift as we stay side by side. Bemeli and I head through the wooded part of the island. There isn't anything that could be called a path, but we manage to pick our way through the bush quite well. Through a thinner stand of trees, we briefly catch sight of the guide standing on one of the beaches. He seems fine, but even though I'm sure he turned his head toward me, he makes no show of acknowledging us. Wait, who was it? I kinda like just read but didn't register what I was reading. The guide. Okay, there we go. Continuing on, Bemeli and I cross the island in search of Margaret. Yeah, where did Margaret wander off to? It wasn't an option to go after her, so... Which is odd to me. Out of nowhere, a shudder runs down my spine, and I barely stop myself from checking behind me. Darkness flickers through my mind, and I hold my breath. A pat on my back brings me back into the light, a reminder that I am not alone. I look up to see Bemeli, his touch more comforting than words could be. Suddenly, I know I do not need to hide my emotions. There is no reason to act as though nothing is wrong when it is. Bemeli already knows. I have hidden my emotions for so long that it is still my first instinct, but somehow I sense an assurance from him. Bemeli will be there to remind me that it is okay, and to support me when I feel I might break from the weight of her experiences. I give Bemeli a hesitant glance. He notices and returns my gaze, staring into my eyes. I feel the words spill out of my mouth before I realize what I'm saying.
Would you like to take a walk with me?
Huh? That is odd. Okay. I take a moment to part some brush out of my path before explaining myself.
We could pass around the edges of the forest where there's less in the way. There doesn't need to be a purpose to the walk. It only needs to be a way to spend time together.
Odd.
I would prefer that to not doing anything.
I would be delighted to accompany you, Kika.
I'm gladdened by his response, though it only makes me feel a little sillier for suggesting it.
Perhaps it may be better not to after all. We'll be walking all throughout the night.
I believe I've spent quite enough time resting. If I'm
Okay.
being honest, I think I need a break from all this waiting around.
Let me check something real quick, guys. I'm gonna take you to the BRB screen real quick. Whoop. There we go. Now where's my... There we go. Whoop. Now where's chat? Oh, confused. I never saw your messages. YouTube didn't show them to me, but thank you. Thanks for stopping by. I believe I spent, I think I need a record. Okay, yeah. My lips curl into a smile.
Alright. We'll do that then.
I would just rest. After we speak to Margaret, yeah. Like, where's Margaret? Where's Margaret?
Of course, of course. Margaret has spent
I
more
heard-
than enough time wallowing in this miserable place alone. You ought to try to lift her spirits while we still have the time.
I heard like the little choice sound, but I didn't make any choices right now, so I'm worried. What happened to Margaret? Tyler will be here later to be real support. Yeah, I don't know why YouTube is weird sometimes like this. I hate it. But anyway, after we speak to Margaret. So yeah, I didn't make any choices. It just happened. I'm terrified. Like, I spent so much time trying to save her. Please let her be okay. Maybe if I'd stayed by myself. I don't know. I'm not sure if we'll be of much help, but there is no way I'm leaving Margaret all alone here for longer. She might want someone to talk to. But going after her wasn't a choice, was it? Like, back here. So I need to be alone. I had to see Bemeli, and then you're going to speak with the guide. I'm going to speak with the guide. So there wasn't really a choice to go after Margaret. But I'm wondering if by staying by myself, I would have maybe found her beforehand. It takes longer than I had hoped to track through the brambles, but we find her in a decent enough time. Oh, there she is. Margaret begrudgingly lifts her head as we approach, enabling me to see her face is damp and tear-stained, while her eyes are red and puffy. She's been crying. I shift between my feet uncomfortably.
Something the matter?
Margaret releases a humorless laugh.
I take it the guards are doing their rounds.
Bemeli and I each steal a glance at one another. Bemeli lightly
It
chuckles.
seems we are. Old habits die hard.
Well, that's nice.
She speaks somewhat curtly, but at least she's no longer seems as oppressed.
I'm happy to report that everything's in order on this front.
Good to hear that.
Margaret isn't saying what's actually on her mind, but I have no way to reach her.
Is that everything?
That's all for the formalities. Now we have another matter on our hands. Kika and I will be taking a stroll.
Why is she being so cold towards us?
I'm fine where I am, thanks. I believe I've had quite enough walking recently.
We would appreciate your company, Margaret.
Margaret looks at us as though she wants to disagree, but ultimately holds her tongue. Instead, she lets out a sigh and gets to her feet.
I suppose I can't pretend I'm busy with anything else. There isn't much to do around here.
Bemeli cracks a smile, and I find that I do as well. The three of us begin our walk, conversing lightly as we meander around the island.
So, do the two of you often travel together for your work? If that is indeed the case, has it ever taken you somewhere a little more pleasant than here?
I've been on a few other expeditions in the past. I'm not sure if I could describe them as better, but they were at least varied and interesting.
I really like the background music. Like, I am paying attention to what they are saying, but at the same time I'm like, oh, that piano sounds so pretty. So beautiful. Gives me nostalgia for something. Meander is such a fun English word, right? There are certain words that are like, ooh, that sounds fun. Even though the word itself has nothing to do with fun. Margaret seems a tad disappointed. Oh no. I feel like I want to start doing an English accent even though I can't do an English accent just because I read a tad. Just a tad. I tried to move the conversation along.
This is the first time that my assignment has required me to travel to a new location.
Oh? Do you prefer to stay behind, Kika?
I don't have a preference. It isn't common for guardsmen to need to leave, and Bemele has been a part of the guards for longer than I have.
But you don't wear armor. Now that I'm realizing, I didn't know they were like, he does have like a guard look, but I didn't realize Kika was also a guard. Huh.
Yes, I'm sure Kika will get more journeys under her belt as time goes on. No one doubts her capabilities. She's only been a part of the guards for 3 years' time. Yet I can hardly remember how it was before she joined.
I have to say, I'm surprised Bemele is the same. He doesn't exactly seem jaded enough. I mean, no offense.
I think that it takes time and determination to know how to struggle through hardships and keep caring. Much more than it takes to become cold or indifferent towards it.
Okay.
Oh, I hadn't thought of it quite like that.
Don't want to wear full armor if you're on expedition for research. But he is, kind of. At least he has like the top half, like the top section of it. But Kika's just wearing a dress, I think. Which again is not wrong. I think more the power, like all the more power to her, right? But because it's fight too hard with a dress. But I don't know, it just didn't give me night vibes. Just by looking at her. But now we know. I love the sleeves. They're so pretty. I want a puffy sleeve shirt like this. Like with sleeves like this. Bemele gives me a sad smile, as if to convey to me that he doesn't think of me as cold.
It depends on the person. Not everyone has to turn out that way.
It depends on the person, everyone has to turn on the way. Hello, Tyler! YouTube just jump scared me. Oh no, YouTube. I click on the stream and it said it's forbidden in restricted mode. I was like, huh? I've never enabled that. Clicked again and we could. Yeah, at the beginning it didn't even let me open my own stream. For some reason. I don't know, it's just YouTube being YouTube, I guess. Oh, I got a bit of the hiccups there. Not everyone has to turn out that way. Margaret and I don't have much more to add to the conversation. Bemele casually changes the subject.
Well, it's already been 5 years since I've joined the guard. Time seems to be moving awfully quickly. Before we know it, Kika will be celebrating her 5th year milestone.
In 2 years' time.
When that time comes, I'll take you out for it. Margaret, you're invited.
Okay. Sure, Isis and I were playfully.
To the 5th year celebration?
Bemele's mouth quirks into a grin.
Yes, only that one.
Oh my god. All of us laugh. It's a blissful moment of release. Here's the thing. I don't want to fall into, like, I don't know if this is a thing, but I don't want to fall into a relationship, right? Like, my instincts are like, this will just, like, make you closer to him, and then maybe something else later. And also turn Margaret, like, a little bit off. Because it's like, oh yeah, us two closer together. And it did say at the beginning that other characters will notice who you prefer. And so everything inside me is telling me like, don't. So I'm gonna do nothing. For a brief moment, all of the troublesome circumstances seem to float away from our minds. And we enjoy each other's company. Yeah, like it's the 3 of us together, it's not just us two. We need to include Margaret as well. Steam achievement! Company. Spirits were lifted together. I wish it could go on for so much longer, but it's only a while later that I have to speak up.
We really should rest before nightfall.
I'm fine with that idea.
All right.
Yep. Because we're gonna have to walk a long way again. Bamele leads us over to the area where the guide mentioned we were going to meet. He lowers himself down onto the ground and stretches out right there, presumably intending to wait until the guide arrives. That's a little more dramatic of resting than I planned. The three of us quietly wait for the guide's arrival, occasionally chatting with one another as we rest. Ooh, what did you order, Tyler? If you can answer. If you're comfortable with that. The sky turns orange as sunset comes upon us. As the color seems to drain from the world, being consumed by the fog, the guide makes his appearance.
It's almost time.
I wonder if he's... if he's truly human. I do like his outfit though. Kinda want to see it without the cape. I nod and feel myself grow tense. We truly are about to return to those bridges. All of us wait in an uncomfortable silence until night falls. We silently stand as one, forming a vigil of sorts. Our remaining lanterns illuminate the dark, prepared for tonight's journey. The problem is that Margaret doesn't have her glasses though. I don't like that. I don't like that. Oh, the Rhythm Heaven for the S. Nice, nice. No worries. I wonder where I could get one. If I ever do. Because it's not like I could stream it anyway. For the DS at least. It might be easier to find a way to stream something on the Wii. But who knows. I just never saw them here. But then again, you said that it was like a... kind of like an obscure-ish thing nowadays. And yet the way forward does not appear. The bridges have been rising from the depths. I glance to my side. The guy doesn't look at all pleased. The corners of his mouth have a harsh bend as he briefly loses himself to heavy thoughts.
We must go to the shore.
He doesn't offer an explanation for why. Instead, he goes on without us. I follow after the guide, my forehead creasing with swelling worry. Behind me, I hear Brameli's and Margaret's unsure footsteps. The four of us press onto the shore. The dark waters lap at the edges of the sand, and as expected, the maze is still hidden beneath the surface. The guide grips his staff tighter, still, his knuckles turning ghostly white. He sucks in a breath of air, like he's about to speak, but he hesitates. We all stare at him expectantly. After a moment more, the guide is fed up with waiting.
Bridges are late. If they don't arrive as soon as darkness falls, there's no telling exactly how long it will be before they do.
Uh-oh. Bamele's face immediately sours as he isn't able to stay silent about his feelings.
So we're going to waste our time standing idly by. There's hardly enough time to make the trip as it is.
Yeah, but it's not like we can just swim. Bamele.
Complaining won't make these bridges come any sooner, though I sympathize with your frustrations. The wait had already been tense as it was.
Yeet.
Not knowing how much longer it will last makes it that much more dreadful.
Time is by far the least of our worries. On the bridges we are constantly moving, which makes it easier to avoid the prowlers. However, this island does not offer that luxury.
So they do crawl up on the... Did they do crawl on the island? Did they do crawl on the island? Uh-oh. My body goes rigid as his words sink in.
More importantly, the bridges are raised above the waters. Nixie have difficulties pulling themselves up onto the bridges. The soft sloping of the shore will allow far more prowlers to drag themselves towards us. Not all will be as dangerous as the ones we've encountered thus far. However, we could easily be overwhelmed.
A pit forms deep in my stomach. I stared at him aghast. I had no idea the situation was that dire. I glanced from the waterline to the trees. What I'm looking for, I don't know. A sign of what might be to come, perhaps.
I wonder if those fires had anything to do with this.
Fires? But Melee's words are biting as he wonders aloud. The guide answers with Melee firmly, wanting to put an end to his speculation.
Whatever magic controlling the bridges is inconsistent. Humans haven't found a way to impact it. We can only do temporary physical damage to the boards.
But Melee is still displeased. Margaret moves into discussion. Her mood is rapidly declining as well.
Then what should we do? We shouldn't stay on the shore if the monsters could be coming towards us at any moment.
The guy closes his eyes and suddenly looks very worn down.
Staying in the center of the island is the safest option. However, there's the risk that we may not be able to reach the bridges when they do rise. Prowlers could have taken full control of the shore by then. Remaining here with our lanterns will ensure the prowlers cannot move freely.
My brows involuntarily knit together. I don't like the sound of taking additional risks in an area that is already so dangerous, but their options are thin.
I will not be kept on this island for another day, so the shore is where I will be. You may wait at the edge of the forest, or even at the center of the island if you fear being attacked. If the prowlers come between us and you fail to make it to the bridges, I will leave you behind.
Of course. But Melee spits heavily under his breath.
Of course you would.
Same brain cell. Of course you would. Hold on, let me just read chat. Oh. I only know Rhythm Heaven. Stay here. She's a little steep. 60 pounds? You mean 60 pounds? Hold on. You mean 60 pounds for that? Let me do a conversion. Isn't the coin like the coin from England called pounds? Haha, bad joke. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna be like, you are not fooling me. I know that they are pounds over there. For me, it's 60, which is a little stiff for an old Wii game, but I know people cherish the classic, so I can let it slide. It's being 80 though? What? And a 3DS game 80? What? It call pounds. What? Okay, 60 pounds is a lot, and at the same time not a lot. Converting it to my own coin. It's like just the price of a normal Switch game nowadays, basically. But it is not what a Wii game would have costed back then. So yeah, it is an expensive Wii game, but not as expensive as I thought, because it is like in the same, and it's also probably used, right? Unless someone kept it on the package. So makes sense that at the same time it is a little overpriced. But then again, if it's like a rare game in over in these parts of the land, then it makes sense that it's a little overpriced. If you buy it from an official store brand over here that collects retro stuff from the general public who trade it on eBay, I think I saw 100 of what? I need money for food. Yeah, makes sense. That is okay. I wouldn't buy them at the prices I've seen, but they've grown in price from popularity and I guess rarity. Yeah, no, like being used is not a problem. The problem is the price, because if it's used, then it shouldn't be usually used games are cheaper than their original price because of the fact that they are used, because it's not new. That's why it should be cheaper than the price it has. Because if they're selling you a used game, it loses its value, like its original value. So it should be at least a little bit cheaper than the original price. And I hardly believe that back then a Wii game would have costed like £60. That's why. But it makes sense that they're like selling it at a more like at a higher price. I was reading what Tyler was saying, but it does make sense at the same time that they're selling it at a higher price, just because it's getting popular. Like there's high demand, but there's so little stock, so that way it's harder to like come by the product. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Like it makes sense that because it's so rare and everyone wants it now, or like more people want it, the price gets higher, because then, you know, more money to the person that owns it. Anyway, back to the game. True, generosity is not something I would expect from the guide, but that is not the conversation we need to have at this moment. The guide has made his decision and we must make
We're
ours.
staying by the shore. Perhaps I could be positioned somewhat further back from you, and then the others could stay further back still. That would keep us safer, without having any major gaps of darkness between us and the shore.
Good suggestion, Kika.
Yeah, makes
I'd say
sense.
that's likely our best option, and we don't have time to come up with any other way regardless.
Yep. Settle on the matter. Settle on the matter. I'm sorry, I just hear Margaret and I'm like, I'm inclined to try to imitate her. The three of us begin to move away from the guide. He pays little attention to us, instead silently fixing his eyes on the water. The water. I take my place in the middle of the shore while Bemele and Margaret hover closer to the island's core, on the line between dirt and sand. After getting a sense of where they are, I turn my gaze ahead. At first I think of being fooled by the fog. There are several white dots playing along the edges of the water. Dark globes begin to surface and I see them for what they are. Eyes. Oh no. So many white, dribbling eyes, gleaming sharply against their pitch black bodies as the Nixie bob up and down. They surface and disappear in a loop, each time more sets of eyes and closer, surveying us more intently. Then they cackle. The sound is atrocious, gurgling, then turning high pitch as they seem to take full stock of us. The lights in their eyes somehow seem bright as the first of the Nixie dig their claws into the sand and begin dragging themselves upon the shore. I plant my feet firmer. A shrill shriek pierces the air, accompanied by a telltale hiss. I whip my head backwards towards the sound, only to be greeted by coal black darkness. I cry out desperately into the void where Margaret and Bemele stood.
What happened?
There's silence. Then the best sound possible. Margaret's voice replies, albeit shakily.
There was a prowler in the woods. I didn't notice it until it was already too close to me. I dropped my lantern when I saw it. The light was enough to...
Oh no, we have another... No, we lost another source of light. We're so screwed. Margaret! I start my head back to make sure the shore is still clear before I sprint over to release them from the darkness with my own light. Margaret stares down at the ground dejectedly when I arrive. Bemele has his hand placed on her shoulder.
I didn't see the thing either. The monster blended in far too well.
Well, yeah, they're made out of... They seem like they're made out of darkness, so it makes sense. He gives me a sad smile as I approach the
We
two
can make
closer.
a small fire for light.
Margaret sniffles loudly.
That may work for now, but what will we do once we're back on the bridges?
Exactly.
We will manage.
I speak firmly, trying to assure her. I can't even guess how effective the attempt was. Emily begins to gather dry twigs, stones, and grass to craft a fire with. Margaret moves to help him, though she still looks terribly upset. I feel awful. It wasn't her fault. We dig a few inches down in the sandy soil before making an edging with the rocks to stop the fire from giving us a repeat of last night. I layer the fuel quickly and light a match at the base of the pit. Margaret stokes the fire with Mameli feeding in twigs. The grass ignites easily and showers the area with enough light to keep anything else that may be lurking in the forest at bay. I release a discreet sigh. We're truly lucky no one was injured or lost during this ordeal. I keep that thought to myself, however. Hearing it would only make Margaret feel worse.
You should go back to your position, Kika. It will all be for nothing if we can't make it onto the bridges in the first place.
True.
Right.
I force myself to sound bold.
We're going to get through this.
Margaret attempts to smile at me, and Bemeli waves as I cautiously back up to my original position. I return my full focus to the shore. As we fear, this is becoming a pressing situation. More prowlers rose from the waters while my attention was on those two. They've surrounded the guide on both sides. The only way to gain distance from them would be to delve further into the island. Yet the guide shows no signs of giving up his position. Ooh, I hear sounds. Hold on, guys. Why does being made from darkness make sense? Sorry, I muted myself because I needed to check something. Because it's dark. Like, the forest is completely dark, so they blend with the shadows. Thus, it makes it easy for them to just, like, camouflage is the word I'm looking for amongst the trees, and that's why they didn't notice them. Isn't a scalper something used by doctors? Or why like, no, that's a scalp. Not a scalper, scalp. Why does it bring horrible imagery to your mind? Whoever is playing this piano right now is very talented. A scalpel. Ooh. And the scalp is like the back of your head? English is weird. They surrounded the guy and was giving up his position. He remains where he is, resolving to keep all the monsters near him in his sight. I grow more unnerved the longer I watch this. The guide seemed impervious to the danger of sin loss. This is the first case where I can't tell whether he will continue to be fine as always or not. It's a distressing notion. As they creep ever closer, I can't stay silent any longer.
Your safety is most important. Consider retreating.
He doesn't face me but replies.
I cannot do that. Nixie recognized signs of weakness. Backing away will only increase the odds of them attacking.
I grip my lantern tighter as I swallow hard. What can I do? No, I don't want to choose. As if to answer my own question, as a thought whispers into my mind, and I look down at the lantern in my hand. I could throw it. As long as I don't let it go too far down the shore, it doesn't seem plausible that a Nyx could take it. But if I do lose the lantern, especially after Margaret lost hers only moments ago, then... Watch. We can't afford to lose the light, not even just for Margaret, but also yourself. I can't act rashly here. The guide has managed through every situation we've been through, as well as countless others we did not bear witness to. I resolved to continue with what we planned and keep my position. Without flinching, the guide skips hold of our position on the waterline. I periodically switch between watching him, the others, and the rest of the shore. As I scan the forest, there's a stinging groan. Was that the guide? It can't be. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I stand rigid in shock, a painful prickling sensation going down my back. Hold on. No, not that one. This one. I stand rigid in shock, as painful prickling sensation going down my back before whipping around to face the truth. He's crouched low on the ground, staring forcefully at a group of Nixie head-on. There is a whole other group of monsters rapidly crawling back into the water.
Hey.
I step forward with a shout, but he puts out one hand to halt me. I do not go further. I and those creatures motionlessly watch for what he will do. His fingers curl tightly around the upper half of his staff. With great effort, he begins to rise to his unstable feet. The moment he is fully upright, the guide aggressively swings his lantern at the encroaching Nixie. He catches them completely off guard, and they scatter to rejoin the rest in the black depths. Okay. The guide crumples back into the sand unceremoniously. I can hear his ragged breaths as he regains his composure. He tugs at one side of his cloak, bringing it closer around himself. It covers up a dark growing stain creeping through his right pant leg. Oh no. Even while collapsed, he seems... Oh, why did my stream stop? Well, my chat, more like. Even while collapsed, he seems compelled to hide his fragility. Also, since it's fitting for this spooky game, have you seen the 10th anniversary of FNAF? I haven't seen anything. I just know that there's a game coming out soonish, I think. Or no, there's like no date. It's Into the Pit, if I remember correctly. And apparently they might get it FNAF into Fortnite. I heard something about that. Which... Why? But then again, they put Naruto in Fortnite, so... What? I think Leo's just playing D&D at this point. I've never played D&D. I wish. But I guess kind of. Just more like decision-based instead of like luck-based. Right? Because dice usually determines how good or is the outcome of your actions. We should play D&D on server. There was actually someone once, I think their name was Zoe, if I remember correctly, back when I was playing Amnesia Memories, that mentioned that when the Discord server didn't exist back then, so... And it took me a while to make it, so probably they moved on and never returned. But they had said that whenever the Discord server went up, they would try to do like D&D sessions and stuff in the server so we could all play. But then that never happened. So if you want, absolutely. There's a new trailer for the... Oh, they're still going with the... Fanverse initiative after everything that has happened in the Snapverse initiative. Oh, Joy of Creation. I remember that. I feel old. I feel old. Man. Ignited Collection. Oh. And a new pixel art FNAF came into the pit. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I know it's based on I think it's the first book of FNAF Frights, something like that. Fazbear Frights? Something like that. It's one of it's the first book of that new series. Before the Pizza Flakes Tales. There are a lot of books. Pop Go still has yet to come out too. Oh, I didn't know it hadn't fully come out yet. Huh. It's like an entirely new game. Oh, really? Pantry always, if I remember correctly. Huh. Well, we could see. I mean, I've never even played a game of D&D, so I really don't know much about what it entails. But, you know, if like any of you ever do know how to and want to do sessions and stuff and get people involved, that's fine. The book series Into the Pit comes from the Fazbear Fights. Yeah, okay, I was right. Yeah, that's the series. That's the book series that comes before the Tales of the Pizzaplex ones, which I think has like 12 books now or more. I don't even know anymore. I don't know. There's a lot. I don't bother with NAF as much as I used to, because there's always something else coming out. He tugs at one side of his cloak, bringing it. Okay, yeah, fragility. Back to the game, my mind. There are FNAF books. Oh my guy. There are 4 novels. There are now graphic novels of those 4 novels. There's the Fazbear Frights series, which is a series of books that has like, how many books does that have? Do you know, Tyler? Yeah, like it's good that they do that, but I feel like it makes everything more messy. It's like how nowadays you have to watch Marvel series in order to understand certain things about the new movies. I feel like Fazbear Frights has 12. Yeah, okay, that has 12. And Tales of the Pizza, why did I say pizza? It's pizza. I guess it rolls off the tongue easier than pizza, but whatever. The Tales of the Pizzaplex has, how many does it have? Like 15 now? Something like that? The 12 book was exclusive to buying the box set with all... Well, but still 12, but because it has more stories in it, right? Anyway, FNAF has a lot of books. And the current series that is still ongoing is Tales of the Pizzaplex. And then there's also the logbook, which was special back in the day because it revealed a lot of lore. And there's a cooking book as well that I think that one doesn't have any lore, but it was popular as well. And there's another one. And there's also a coloring book. There are a lot of FNAF books. But anyway, back to the game a little bit. Is that admirable or saddening? I don't know anymore. I think it's more sad than admirable. Oh, hold on. Give me a moment, guys. Sorry about that. I'm back. I had to look for a medicine for my mom right just now, but everything's fine now. Let us continue. Now, let me catch up with chat. The funny thing is the Pixelplex books do a better job at explaining security breaches lore and making it scary than the actual game itself. Yeah, I think I saw an interview. Oh, hold on. Oh, it's just the rain. I was like, what is that loud sound? It's just that it suddenly started raining harder. Ah. Odd. It was so loud all of a sudden. Anyway. How will we cope? Yeah, I think it was because they told them that the previous one, the VR one, Help Wanted, was too scary, that they decided to like take it down a notch, just so like that one would be easier to get into and more fun, and also like to be like a part 1 of sorts, and then part 2 is when it gets serious. I saw an interview about that with, I think it was FNAF. So yeah, I think it has something to do with that. I thought it was just a game that got popular and then was done to death with 4 sequels. No, there are like 10 games now, and they're all interconnected, sort of, kind of. I think Into the Pit is the only one so far that is gonna be like out of the normal story. But there's FNAF 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sister Location. Pizzeria Simulator, I think, was the one after that. People never talk about FNAF World, and I don't think there's a way to play that anymore, but I've always been curious about it, and I think that was what had the most lore, and for some reason people just never liked it. It's very odd to me. But there were 2 FNAF Worlds. There's also the spin-off games of Freddy in Space, which I think there are like 2 or 3 of them. Yes, Into the Pit is the first spin-off. But it was... what? Okay, Sister Location, then Pizzeria Simulator, then Ultimate Custom Night, then I think we jumped right into what's the name of it? Help Wanted. And then after Help Wanted we got the one at the Pizzaplex, which I forgot the name of. Security Breach. Yeah, Security Breach. And then after Security Breach, it was the DLC, if I remember correctly, which is Ruin. And now they're working on another one. Then there was Help Wanted 2, which was the most recent one, and then and now this year what is expected to come out is Into the Pit, and they're working on another game, but they haven't really announced which one or what is it going to be about or anything. So yeah, just that they're working on something. And then there's also the movies now, which are also like parallel to the story because they don't follow the story of the games to the T, but all of that. So there's a lot of FNAF stuff. I'm amazed that you guys know this by heart. I mean, it's been around my life for 10 years. I wasn't a FNAF fan for the longest time. It wasn't until I watched a playthrough with Markiplier that was also how I discovered, well, it's not how I discovered him, but it's how I started watching him. It wasn't until he played FNAF 4 that I started following along, because I saw that there was a story. And I was like, oh, because I tend to keep away, well, I used to tend to keep away from scary games because I don't like getting jump scared or anything. And I didn't like that it was marketed towards children when, like, you know, the story is not children friendly, I think, but in my opinion, but I found the story very interesting after that, and so that's why I started following him, and then MatPat and all of that when 4 came out. So yeah. Also, the first 4 games came in like the span of 2 years. Or even less, I think. No, more like a span of a year, yeah. The first 4 games just were released one after the other really fast. Like, Scott just programmed everything so fast. But yep. I ended up rambling more, and now I need to catch up more with chat. The queen is gone. How will we cope? Yeah, I got it from a guy on Ko-fi. Their name is, or at least their username is. I follow them on Twitter, Ko-fi Run. And they make like kind of like audio tutorials on Twitter, on threads. On Twitter, like threads of audio tutorials and stuff, and tips and all of that, and also some lo-fi music here and there that you can use for free as long as you credit him. Actually, his link is in my description. So yeah, I like what he does, and so I decided to use it. And when I revealed the 2.0 model, so yeah. I ended up just keeping the Hell Room in Celeste. I don't know about Celeste, so I can't really give an opinion on that. Hellborn is scary because of VR. Yeah, there's also like the non-VR version, I think. And now the rain just calmed down a whole lot. What is going on outside? Anyway, but oh yeah, there was like not a tornado, but there's some sort of storm nearby in another state. That explains. It's fine. But yeah, there apparently even just in general, like the consensus was like for some people like took it well, and some others were like, I can't even get past the like main menu, right? Like, so that's why they took it down a notch on the scary part. Just like how with Resident Evil 7 as well, there were people who just could not play it. They were terrified. It wasn't fun for them, and so 8 is a little bit less scary, or it has less jump scares, but it's still a very good game. Just Security Rich had issues when it released. That's, I think, the difference. They all instant kind of gameplay too. At least 3 ones people shown seem to be. Yeah, kind of. Here's the thing. The first game is like your introduction to that style of gameplay. Checking the camera as being very claustrophobic, not being able to like move around. On like the only way you can move is to look at the doors to check if Bonnie and Chica are there, and the cameras to see if Foxy's coming and all of that. And I think Freddy is audio based, if if I remember correctly. But then FNAF 2 introduces a whole new bunch of characters and their different dynamics, and you have a lot more to keep in check. And then there's battery and all of that. And 3, you go from a wide roster of characters to just one. And then on 4, it's the main 4 characters again, but in a child's room. So you don't have to check cameras, you have to check your doors, your bed, and your closet. And then after Sister Location, the style of gameplay starts, like the basics are sort of the same-ish, but it starts to change because you start being able to roam around because of the story. I need a whole Just Chatting stream for this. Again, I was intending to do one because I want to talk about Sonic. But there's this one is like, this is a whole can of worms that you need to unpack and fuse. It's free on Game Jolt. I need to check it out. I don't know if I'll be able to play it on stream. Because the main games I've never played, not because I don't want to, it's because the game lags, the stream lags so hard. The game and the stream, like the stream is fine, but the game lags so hard. I tried playing Ultimate Custom Night last October with Sodu, and it was just a mess because I could barely move. I couldn't hear anything. The volume was either too loud or too low, and it was just a lot. So that's why. I need to check Game Jolt then, because I only know of itch.io, and that's where I've gotten some new interesting indie games that I want to try out. But yeah. FNAF 4 and 6 are the scariest games in the series. You can see jump scares coming in advance, and they would require you to have your headphones louder than... Yeah, that's also a problem. For me, at least. Oh no! I think the current generation of gaming has run optimizations, hence why Security Breach released like a mess. Developers think that hardware can do all the heavy lifting now. If you can, you should play on stream. You want to talk about Sonic? Yeah. After our conversation on the server, I was like, I need to talk about why I love my specific Sonic games. But I want to do a Just Chatting stream for that. So we also need a Just Chatting stream to unpack everything about FNAF. Because it's a lot. And the state of the gaming industry. But yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the game. Sorry about the brief or long, I don't even know, break there. The guide roughly pulls himself back onto his feet and forces himself to remain standing. The rest of us must remain strong as well, if we are to survive this night. Okay, so he got attacked, but nothing happened to him, other than whatever black thing she saw crawling up his leg. Which is concerning, but at least he's not dead. Yet. My dog is snoring. Gripping my lantern, I watch over everything and everyone inside vigilantly. Oop. There we go. After an untold period of time, the water begins to stir. There's an unusual gargling, a sound I never thought I would be this relieved to hear. Slowly, crickly, the bridges make their nightly appearance. Sinless is an overwhelmingly cruel environment. This land had felt like a safe haven, is how Magai Bernier, what was his name again? I always forget his name. I don't know why. I can't get it like stuck in my brain. Bemele, yeah, Bemele. He said haven, right? Haven? Such a short time ago. But that has been twisted to the point where I am grateful for a chance to return to the maze. And we may not even reach that. Poor Nixie are reaching the water and wrenching themselves onto the sand. The guide signals to all of us. Thanks to his position on the shore, the guide is able to board the bridges without confrontation. For the rest of us, however, the Nixie begin to crowd the opening. It appears they want to get on themselves. We have desperately little time before we'll be cut off from the guide. I took to my lantern. Will they slide along be enough to cause them to disperse? Margaret's shout cut straight through my thoughts. Oh, she has a torch! She's advancing towards me, holding a heavy stick with the end set on fire as a makeshift torch. The sight is striking.
Won't last long. We need to get through now.
She needs not say any more. The three of us push our way forward. As we advance, Margaret relays her plan.
We'll toss the branch when we get close. The smoke spewing off this thing is making it even harder to see than usual. So you tell me when it's time, Kika.
Okay.
I can do that.
Okay. The shore approaches closer and closer, and every single one of the Nixie turn their attention towards our small group. No. After alerting Margaret, she gives her all to hurl the flame ahead of us while avoiding setting the bridge itself on fire. Yeah, we don't need the bridge on fire. The monsters flee from the torch. A path is clear. We waste not one moment, sprinting towards the bridges. With the others near my side, I amble. Why does that work? I amble back into the maze. We don't stop until there's a considerable distance between us and the shore. It is there that we encounter the guide. Upon seeing his figure, I had a sigh of relief. We haven't been left behind. Our arrival doesn't change the guide's empty expression. He doesn't say or do anything, instead allowing us all to catch our breath. Bemele starts to laugh incredulously through uneven breaths.
Such recklessness. I can hardly believe it worked.
Margaret chimes in, equally as amazed and exhausted.
I don't know how we managed to do nothing wrong. That feels far more fitting for this journey.
Yes, you could have burnt your fingertips off. Or perhaps the bridges
Can
could
we
have gone
not
up in flames.
talk about the way things could have gone wrong? You guys are gonna jinx it. Just don't question it. Enjoy our temporary moment of relief. Scott was messing around for all the other games, but 4 and 6, it's true horror time. Yeah. You probably couldn't tell, but I am interested in Lake of Voices. I get carried away with rambling. Yeah. Yeah, it is a very interesting story, but it's very easy to just get like into a tangents and get carried away from the story and just be like, wait, now I need to get back into focus because what was I reading? So yeah, I get that. Margaret looks at him curiously. Bemele gives her a wink.
That would have been the outcome if I was handling the torch, you think?
Margaret's lips squirk into a smirk.
Yes.
At least they're getting along now. We treasure the moment of triumph for a little more before the guide ends in silence.
We need to start walking. We've already lost much time as it is.
The bridge reminds me of the bridge across the lake in Omori. Oh yeah, there was a bridge that I ended up not wanting to venture on because I didn't know where it would take me. I don't know if you guys heard that. We need to start walking. We already lost much time as it is. Do you venture on the bridge, if I remember right? No, it was not my dog. It's the neighbors. One of the neighbors behind me has a dog, but this is a constant every day where it cries like that, and I don't know why that is. Last night it was worse, and I'm starting to become more worried about that. Anyway, wait, why is the game so big? You guys can't see the full text. I'm just realizing. Why did no one tell me? It's because, oh, I know why. because when I play Omori, the screen is smaller. Damn. Hold on. There we go. No, that's not what I wanted to. There. Better. We're sorry you were reading it out. Yeah, but I didn't realize that you guys couldn't see the full text. Almost as soon as he finishes his statement, he stumbles, nearly falling back down. Oh my god, Bimeli! His hand slipped down the shaft of his staff. Or wait. Oh no, it's the guy who spoke. He stumbles, nearly falling back down. His hand slipped down the shaft of his staff as he sinks to the ground. He gasps under his breath.
Are you alright? Is there anything you can do?
So he has a
Don't have
wound.
much, but I could still clean and wrap it.
I take a few hurried steps closer. I reach my hands out towards him, which he curls away from like a barn cat. He turns his gaze up to me and shakes his
I
head.
tended to it myself when you were still ashore.
Moments tick by as I stare at him, growing even more nervous. As horrible as his injury is, the larger situation at play is there for all. It is a weight bearing down on each of us, threatening to bring the entire group to its knees rather than only our lead. We can't stay here.
Are you able to walk?
He eyes his feet with gritted teeth and clutches his staff tighter.
Not like this.
A bit of quiet passes before he continues, his voice slightly racked.
I have a way. It will be enough to get to the other side.
Shaking, he removes a hand from his staff and reaches into his cloak, searching for something. I have little other choice but to watch as he searches his pockets. The panic that we thought was past starts creeping back in. He retrieves a small vial with viscous liquid inside, swishing it slightly as he holds it up. I peer at it curiously.
Drinking this will numb the pain. I'll be able to ignore my leg is injured for the time being.
Okay, not the greatest option, but sure. I analyze the vial hesitantly. I'm pensive as I mull over the possible other effects it could have. Something that potent would be a miracle drug if there were no downsides along with the positives.
Is that safe? It must cause drowsiness or have some kind of impact on you. Not to mention, pushing your leg so hard when it's in that state could permanently ruin it.
Exactly. He regards me as his lip twists part away into a snarl.
My leg isn't broken. It will heal without issue once I'm able to treat it. In order for that to happen, however, I need to live.
I flinch slightly. He wouldn't usually snap at such a question. The pain must be truly getting to him.
What about side effects? You didn't say what they were.
Are you losing frame or is that YouTube? Oh no. It probably is YouTube because OBS looks fine. OBS says there's 0 lost frames, so probably YouTube. Bimeli steps in closer to the guide, his question harsh enough to be a demand. Bimeli's trust in the guide has steadily declined since the first night. With the way he's acting, I cannot ignore the sense that it may come to a head before the journey is over. The guide levels a deeply unimpressed look at Bimeli. He then sighs, raising the bottle up so that it's more visible. He swishes it almost impatiently.
It can slow reflexes and cloud the mind.
Immediately, Bimeli's eyes widen incredulously. Margaret quietly gasps, bringing a hand to her mouth. The guide heaves another sigh, though the pain in it makes it sound more akin to a groan. He's still impatient with the group's delays as the time marches
I will
on.
only be taking half a dose. It won't ease all of the pain. However, it will reduce the odds that I will be notably impacted by any adverse effects.
I know how you feel about others coming close to you. But is that truly the best solution to a situation like this? You need to be clear-headed here.
Yeah, because you're the guide. Margaret looks at the bottle and then at him skeptically. Bimeli takes another heavy step forward. He meets the guide's eyes stonily.
You can't drink something like that. I'll carry you.
No, Bimeli! Bimeli presses forwards, encroaching on the guide's personal space. The guide visibly shrinks back again. However, he can't hobble much further away due to his injured leg.
That won't.
Before the guide can put forth another word, Bimeli brazenly snatches the bottle straight from his hand. Everyone is stunned to silence by Memeli's action. Even the guide has trouble expressing any sort of emotion beyond furious disbelief. Memeli ignores all of her reactions and smiles triumphantly, holding the bottle like a trophy.
You have made it very clear that at the first inconvenience, you would leave us all for dead in the water. As you are now, that is impossible.
True. The guide narrows his eyes at Memeli, who only gives him a taunting grin.
So, this isn't about any possible adverse effects. You want to leave me injured and immobile on purpose.
Memeli shrugs, then returns to smirking almost cockily.
If there were no side effects, I likely would have thought nothing of it. However, mentioning those risks triggered something in my mind. You've never done what's best for the group, you only choose the safe option for yourself. With that in mind, I can't exactly trust you when you tell us that the medicine is truly our one option. Now, even if carrying you means that you will be more at risk than otherwise, I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Memeli chuckles derisively and rolls his eyes while spinning the medicine vial between his fingers.
I hope you're proud that I'm following your advised method of not considering others, guide.
Oh my god. Despite Memeli's sarcastic jab, the guide returns to his usual empty deadpan expression and makes no attempt at rebuttal.
There, he accepts it. What of you?
Memeli then turns to look at us curiously. Margaret snorts slightly at the inquiry.
That stunt was so ill-advised, I never expected even you to attempt something like it. What if the guide had another bottle with him? We would have all been abandoned by now.
Memeli pulls a mischievous smirk.
I'd have taken that bottle too.
Margaret shakes her head at his response. However, she doesn't seem too upset over this. She seems more at ease than she has been for some time. Memeli seems rather pleased by the reaction thus far, grinning widely at us.
If anyone is worried about my ability to carry the guide for the rest of the night, you shouldn't be. Rest assured, a willowy man like the guide won't slow me down whatsoever.
He puffs his chest out proudly. Margaret can't suppress the laugh that bubbles up from her chest. She waves out Memeli's boasting with a silly grin on her face.
You are an absolute buffoon.
Memeli's faces me expectantly. The guide also levels a steely gaze in my direction. Oh no, not another choice. We may be having a bit of fun getting the upper hand on the guide for a change, but if we don't go back now, we never will. Though, do we truly need to? Whee! All that matters is reaching the shore safely. What really is for the best in this situation. That could work. I'm willing to take the risk. Memeli's grin widens ecstatically at my lack of resistance. I feel nerves turning my insides jittery as I think over doing something so drastic. No matter the fear, this has to be done. Even if the guide can't be trusted to show us the correct path, he's not reliable when it comes to anything else. If we let him do as he wishes, it is very possible that at some point during this night he will leave us to die.
I believe you are capable of carrying the guide to the other side. That seems like the least risky option we have for the group at large.
Boom, boom. I think Click Team is making a FNAF car racer. Oh god, no. Stop! Stop! Stick to the main games! Oh, man. Anyway, that might be fun, but man. Okay. Memeli lets out a small triumphant laugh and tosses the vial over to me. I catch it and quickly tuck it away in my pocket. I'll return it to its rightful owner once we've made it to the shore. Memeli steps back up to the guide's side, who still shrinks slightly beneath him. The guide narrows his eyes as Memeli grows near.
Fret not. I will take proper care to lift you. This isn't the first time I've carried an injured traveling partner. I'll have to hoist you over my shoulder since we've still got a ways to go. I ask that you don't
Why not
make
Princess
too much
carry
of a
him?
fuss about it.
The guide stares at him politely.
I'm hardly in a position to resist. You've taken away my ability to do anything but be dependent on you and your decisions. Even though this path was only taken because I am not someone you care for rather than true pragmatism, It is a better mindset to have on these bridges than how you've acted thus far.
Bemeli snorts out a sarcastic laugh.
Thank you for your approval.
He bends down and grabs the guide, lifting him over his shoulders. Bemeli is careful to not to bump the guide's legs. He still winces in pain, clutching his staff tightly as he's jostled back and forth. However, the arrangement is quickly settled and Bemeli is ready to begin walking with the guide in tow. Margaret has a hand over her mouth, looking like she can't decide whether to laugh or weep at the state of her journey.
I can scarcely believe that this is the solution we've come to. With the way the guide acts, though, I suppose that I shouldn't be too surprised people are willing to turn on him this way.
Continue down this bridge. We cannot remain here any longer.
Let us just move forward. Bemeli gives him a nod and starts to walk across the soggy boards as the new head of the group. We walk along the bridges together in the stillness. And this also gives us like 2 lights, one for me and, well, for Kika and Margaret, and another one for Bemeli and the guide. The guide's occasional instruction of what paths to take is the only conversation that reverbers in the night. Our steps echo throughout the bridges, and I'm more acutely aware of just how many paths there are spread across the lake than ever. Even the voices of the lake are quiet, but it's no consolation, for in their place is their otherworldly squishing sounds of the prowlers contorting their aquatic forms across the boards. It's impossible to tell exactly where they're coming from. The sounds seem to echo in every direction at once. All I know is that it's too close for comfort. I do my best to ignore the feeling, but the sounds still fill me with a constant lingering dread. All I know... Okay. Sorry, I was reading chat. We cross a long path and come across a strange sight. It's a bridge which curves in and becomes more narrow in the middle than usual. Eyeing the dubious bridge warily, I grow nervous at the idea of getting that close to the edge. Bemeli's pace slows before coming to a stop directly in front of the foreign way. For once, he looks to the guide for this matter. The guide appraises the bridge, looking intensely down the path ahead.
Normally it would be possible to cross a narrow bridge if one is careful with how they step. We can't continue as we are. Our combined weight is too much.
So?
Is there another path?
This is our path.
Bemeli's eyes widen at the explanation before gritting his teeth and speaking with tone coated with suspicion.
So, you knew from the start we'd reach a point where putting you down was the only option.
The guide silences confirmation enough for Bemeli. He scoffs derisively, then purposefully strides forward, planting his feet on the mouth of the narrow bridge.
Unfortunately, that plan isn't going to work. I may not look the part, but I'm quite light on my feet.
I don't... Bemeli, I don't know about that. I don't think being hot-headed right now is the right answer. The guide still does not speak. He looks completely unfeathered. Bemeli doesn't take kindly to the guy's dismissiveness. He lifts his foot for a second time, stretching it out ahead of his body and threatening to move even further down the narrow way. He's bluffing, isn't he? I've known Bemeli for a few years now, and I wouldn't assume even his recklessness would go this far. Yet, I cannot help but hold concerns. One wrong step could mean the end for the both of regardless of how serious his intentions are. Has this gotten out of hand? For only a second I catch the guide looking my way. The moment I realize it, however, he's returned to staring down Bemeli.
Do it. To die on these boards is my fate. What difference is there should it be today or tomorrow? It is only those you are trying to protect who will suffer.
Bemeli snarls under his breath, but puts his foot down where it originally was. He even takes a few steps back, his head lower in defeat. It seems we have no choice. I reach into my pocket to take out the vial belonging to our guide. Bemeli places the guide back onto the ground as I hand the medicine towards him. He takes it from me and downs the entire dose almost instantly. He was just gonna take half originally. Yeah.
The less medicine I drink, the longer it takes to have an effect. Our time is even more limited thanks to how much was wasted on your little game. I had to drink it all so we could move forward. It should be fine.
Uneasy and regretful glances are shared throughout our party. No one is showing more of those emotions more than Bemele. We've been forced to accept that, for better or worse. On Sinlos, the guy decides all. It is disheartening. At the very least, the guide gains his mobility back in short order, as he assured us. I shake off the heaviness of what happened and put my focus on the task ahead. I give a firm look to my traveling partners in hope that they'll feel the same. With no further discussion, the guide smoothly glides across the bridge in the center until his effortless walk brings him to where the boards widen again. Now it is our turn, and with only a single lantern shared between us, we have to be mindful of how to cross without leaving anyone in darkness.
I will stay in the middle. One of you will lead while the other goes behind.
I ponder over what positions to take. The person in front could potentially stall the others or bump into us, so it seems important to send someone capable of crossing without stopping. Yet it might also be better to send someone who could possibly be left behind first to ensure that doesn't happen. I look over to my two companions, who also seem pensive over this decision. None of us want to make the wrong choice. I hope dearly to myself that we're exaggerating how dangerous crossing this thin bridge will be.
If no one has an opinion on the matter, I would like to go last. It would be easier for me to match someone else's steps than to walk without a lead.
Bemele nods and gives her a slight
If
smile.
that's the case, I will gladly go first.
Oop, there was a slight buffer there. But it seems it was just YouTube. Okay. Can they just cross during the day? Are they stupid trying to cross at night? Confused. That was the whole beginning of the stream. They can't cross during the day because the bridge doesn't exist during the day. Like, it goes down the surface and then it has to pop back up during the night. That's why. Like, during the day, the prowlers can't come any closer to anything because the light affects them. But the bridge is not there, so they can't really cross. That's why they had to stay for like during the day on the island. I refuse to believe they're doing a Fortnite collab, right? Like, I haven't seen the rest of the things for the anniversary, but like I said, like, I heard that there was going to be a Fortnite collab, and I was like, how? Why? But then again, there's been Dragon Ball and Naruto collabs, so I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed. I'm mostly just listening to your voice instead of actually paying attention, so okay, don't worry. But yeah, that's basically it. That's why they can't cross during the day. The one collab I wouldn't mind is One Piece. I mean, I've only played Fortnite like twice, and it wasn't my type of game. I'm not really a first-person shooter player, because I have terrible aim. But oh yeah, there was an Attack on Titan collab. Oh god. But I can see why it could work given how the game is nowadays. With ordering decided, the three of us carefully start to make our way across. First, Bemele steps onto the narrow bridge. A few seconds later, I follow after him. And after a pause, behind me, Margaret also starts going across. As we inch our way across, something strange starts to happen. Oh no. I notice the bridge start to bend down to the right. I suddenly realize that the weight of all of us is stressing the support beams. The others have noticed as well. A sound of alarm resounds from both in front of me and behind. I speak in a hushed whisper, trying to remain calm.
We need to focus on keeping ourselves centered. We can't let the bridge tilt.
That's why there was forcefully always someone that was gonna have to cross in the darkness. I think of our predicament. I can't leave Margaret behind. There's nowhere for her to go with no other source of light nearby. Bemele could try going by himself while we kept still. We aren't close enough to the guide for Bemele to remain in light completely. However, with only him moving, hopefully the bridge will remain stable enough for him to cross it quickly. With him safe on the other side, we will have an easier time keeping the bridge from bending again. I can't be sure if it's worth the risk though. These concerns may be a knee-jerk reaction to seeing a sign of danger. If all of us go slowly, it's possible we could still cross together. I knew I should have saved earlier. Now load because it's gonna run out of time. Yes. Bemeli, go without us. I hastily share my thoughts on the matter with the other two. Bemeli listens to me intently. A look comes over his face, and it's clear that he's not fond of the idea of leaving us behind. I shake my head and urge him to go.
Having one less person on this bridge will be beneficial for everyone, Bemele.
Margaret keeps quiet at silent agreement towards the plan. He sighs and nods. Bemele sucks in a breath and carefully starts to walk down the bridge. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. It mostly stays in one place. Ah! Go all the way down, go all the way down, go all the way down. It stays in one place. The bridge slightly creaks from side to side. Luckily, it is not an extreme enough tilt to unbalance anyone. Ash! I forgot to... I just clicked instead of reading what was there. Come on, go down. History, please. There we go. Bemele successfully reached the edge of my light. For a moment, he stares down a path of darkness. Okay. He then moves quickly without hesitation. He makes it closer and closer to the other side, when suddenly, a twisted backwards arm glossy with blackened water bursts from the side and latches on— No, Bemele! A scream pierces the air as Bemele tries frantically to separate himself from the Nyx. It simply digs its claws deeper into his lip, which causes him to shriek even louder. I stare on in abject horror as the scene unfolds before us. The bridge shifts and begins to bend from the strain again. There is little Bemele can do to resist. He rolls off the bridge into the water. Uh-oh. I shout despairingly, but my voice can't help. No! I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. I took the wrong choice. I am facing the actions of my own
What if it breaks?
the consequences of my own actions. Bemele got grabbed and I just went back in time. This is why I make a lot of saves. See? See?
Yes, we need to move forward. If someone notices the bridge bending at all, they need to slow and tell the rest of us.
Like, I refuse to see the end where Bemele dies. Okay, so that didn't happen. Woo! Erase it from your memories. We're just going down the bridge together. Both of them nod, and so we begin inching our way forward. I focus my thoughts on putting one foot in front of the other, keeping my balance in check as I try to remain centered. Despite our best efforts, however, the bridge begins to tilt sideways once more. We can stay in sync with one another, causing the front bridge to bend down to the left while the back twists to the right.
Stop! We need to rebalance.
All of us moving our positions at once, only further towards the bridge. It begins to rock dangerously back and forth. I start to struggle to remain on my feet, let alone be perfectly centered. It isn't me alone. The lot of us struggle to keep from toppling over as the bridge waves from side to side. I hear a high-pitched yell from behind me. I turn my head and see that Margaret is leaping. Is there no way for me to save them both? Seriously? She shuffles haphazardly on her feet and draws dangerously close to the edge. What? I reach a hand out to her, as futile as it is. She has already lost her balance and doubles over the side of the bridge completely.
Margaret!
So there is no way for me to save either of them. Oh no. So it's either Margaret or Bemele. Man. Is there... I guess I'll let Margaret die, I'm sorry. She never resurfaces. There's not so much as a bubble coming up from the lake. Maybe if we had taken the guy with us, he would have died instead. The bridge slowly creaks back into place, blushing as it settles into its original position, all as if nothing happened. An eerie stillness overtakes the area as I stare, not trembling at the place my companion was lost. I'm overwhelmed with feelings. My eyes fill to the brim with tears. Why? Why did this have to happen? Before I have any time to grieve, the guide's voice rings out on a wind from across the bridge.
You cannot stay there. You must keep going.
I count my breaths in an attempt to calm myself. As long as I stand here, my Melly can't move.
I'm going to start walking again.
All right.
Pamela replies with agreement. However, there is a quiet anger running through his response. Now with only 2 sets of feet instead of 3, it is not as difficult a journey to make. Then he could have crossed with melee. He could have. Because the 2 of us are walking. The mirror. I was gonna say a curse in Spanish, but I held myself back. Now with only 2 sets of feet instead of 3, it is not a difficult journey to make. The mere idea of one of us being missing pains me to my core. Eventually, we make it to the other side of the narrow bridge, and the remaining 3 of us stand together quietly as we process what happened. I place my free hand over my face to cover my eyes as I begin to weep. Not all of us made it. No matter how many times I stated in my head, I'm not able to make myself accept it. We were all here just a moment ago. And yet now, how could this have happened?
Forget what you saw. As of right now, nothing matters except for the fact that we have yet to reach the shore. Morning will arrive soon. We must continue.
I can't understand the words. I need to keep myself together until I reach the shore, and yet, it seems impossible to actually do. Everyone is being lost, one by one. I can't take it. I mean, he did say at the beginning that only one of us would, that one of us would die, regardless of anything, during the journey, so, makes sense. Mameli places a firm hand on my shoulder. He tries to comfort me, while mourning himself. The guy taps the base of his staff into the wards, not allowing us to become lost in our sorrow. Mameli levels a bone-chilling glare at him. Despite this, he lightly taps on my shoulder, urging me to keep going. I manage to make myself take a step forward. My stomach twists as we simply have to move past the death of another person, for the 2nd time. It's so cruel. Margaret was so bright, so thoughtful, even with her teasing remarks. She had so much to offer, and it was all lost in a moment. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. After hours of navigating the web of ridges, the faint silhouette of the shore creeps into view. It seems unbelievable that the end is in sight. Even that wisp of hope does little to ease the ache inside me. I still feel hollow inside. Those of us remaining continue in the direction of the shore, and the darkness around us begins to break. A seed of worry sprouts inside me. Will we make it? The guide ahead seems to have no sign of concern on his face. He is calmer than I have ever seen him. I hold on to the hope that we will be able to make it through. The sky above becomes tinged with red as we head down the long stretch of boards. We walk further and further into the mist before what comes into view halts my steps. A dead end. What? What? we want to learn the Spanish curse. I want to summon my own demons. No. Leo just contemplating her actions is very funny. It's not funny for me. I'm just like, where did I go wrong? This is your fault. Going with the guide that advertises a death during the trip. That's not a great track record. Well, we had to make the trip regardless. Literal shivers. I gasped at the sight. It sunk. Why? Why did this bridge have to fall now? The shore is there. I see it right in front of my eyes. Next to me, I hear Bimali cuss beneath his breath.
Is there any other path?
I ask urgently, making an effort to keep myself from sounding too panicked. The guy doesn't respond, or even turn to face me. He just keeps staring ahead at the end of the pathway.
Guide? Our way has been taken from us. We need to find another bridge before the sun rises. Listen to me.
Finally, the guide stares from my harsh calls. He speaks in a distant sort of way, as if he were in a trance.
This bridge didn't sink. It was never the path to the shore. And yet here we are.
What?
What?
I took the wrong way. We can't reach the shore.
Huh? Wait, excuse me?
I wonder how much of this was a mistake.
Have you lost your damn mind?
Excuse me? Huh? This cannot be happening. It can't. He took us the wrong way, and he did it intentionally? The medicine, it robbed him of logic, or perhaps it was his will that was lost. If he had taken less, would this not have happened? Or was it over as soon as I left him to the Nixie while on the shore? My mind begins to race with a million other questions, but I snap myself out of it. There is only one pressing matter to attend to at this moment in time. I forcefully grab the guide by his shoulder and make him turn towards us.
You need to show us the correct bridge, or else we're going to die.
He brushes my hand off him, dropping his staff to the side in the process. I grab his wrist and try to pull him forward. He remains solidly planted on the bridge, with more strength than I anticipated given his hazy state. Emily rushes to my side and hastily tosses the guide over his shoulder. He turns to me with a dire look.
We need to run. We're so close that we may be able to find the shore without him. We can trust his word as he is regardless.
The bridge below us begins to tremble and all I can do is nod. It's going to sink. The both of us start to sprint across the bridges, with the guide wildly slung over Bimeli's back. Not too much progress is made before the shaken morphs into an urgent shuddering and sinking. Despite the bridge starting to disappear below, we keep running until there is no more bridge left to cross. I tried desperately to tread water, but my armor weighs me down. So she does have armor. In this dense fluid, inevitably my strength is quickly zapped away. I don't sink so much as plummet down into the lake. The painful fighting burning in my lungs takes a few minutes to subside. Then I slip into unfeeling nothingness. I got a bad ending! I was doing so good! Yeah, the prowlers are active in the water every day. But all the time. But the thing is about them coming to the surface. I am so upset. And I can't access the bonus. I am so upset. I am so upset. There's Bimeli drowning and Margaret drowning. And then the prowlers and Margaret with a torch. Nothing. The guy that we left behind and more prowlers. This is why we make save files. Multiple. I want to see what happens when Bimeli dies. Go without us. I can skip until the point where he gets drowned. I shout desperately, but my voice can't help. He fights to keep his arm out, refusing to go completely under. Soon, even that is pulled down. Bimeli never resurfaces. There's not so much as a bubble coming up from the lake. So it's the same dialogue but with Bimeli. The bridge slowly creaks back into place, sloshing as it settles into its original position. I don't want to save, else if nothing happened. An eerie stillness overtakes the area as I stare, mouth trembling, at the place my companion was lost.
You cannot stay there. You must keep going.
Yep.
I'm going to start walking again.
Okay.
Okay, so then Margaret's like, sure. Now with only 2 sets of feet instead of 3. It's the same dialogue. I place my free hand to my face, starting to weep. Not all of us made it.
Forget what you saw.
Margaret huddles close to me. She's also sobbing quietly into my shoulder. I can hear her faintly whispering apologies over and over like a heartbroken mantra. The guy taps the base of his staff into the boards, not allowing us to become lost in our sorrow. Margaret sniffles and wipes the tears from her eyes. She begins to walk forward. She looks behind her to see if I'm still remaining close. I manage to make myself take a step forward. My stomach is cruel. Bemeli was a wonderful guard and a wonderful person. He was striving towards so much, but he was all lost in a moment. Sorry. I'm so sorry. And then it's the same. We come to the dead end and Margaret is aghast. This possibility never occurred to her.
Is there any other path?
You can't actually mean that. Why would... How could... Margaret stares wide-eyed, unable to finish a complete sentence. This cannot be happening. It can't. And then... I tighten my grip, intending to make him move this time. However, he speaks before I can.
This is the end. Leave me be.
My hands slip from the guide at those words. I look at him, utterly baffled. We did not understand him, not in any way. I feel backed into a corner as the sun rises higher.
Kika, we can't stay.
I know we need to go, however the guide won't move. Are we really meant to simply do nothing, to let him be lost like the others? The bridge begins to violently quake below us. I swallow hard. This is foolish. There isn't enough time for any of us to make it. He's aware of that. Margaret looks at me with heavy tears brimming in her eyes. Her fright is thinly veiled.
We're going to leave.
Margaret wipes her eyes with her sleeve and nods. The two of us start to rush down the bridges frantically. Not too much progress is made. Okay, yeah, and shuddering and shaking, and then we die. Alright, so we were destined to doom. So I guess what we should have done is just let the guy take the bile before... Was it in this save? Skip. Yeah, no, it wasn't this one. This one? Let the guy have his medicine, Bemeli. His expression immediately falls when I say this. He stares down at the bottle in his hands dejectedly. I sigh. I don't enjoy dashing his hope of not being completely at the mercy of the guide. However, this reckless behavior is more likely to get us all of us killed. Yep. He cannot carry a man for this entire journey.
I'm aware that you have good intentions, but having a mutiny on our guide is going too far. Considering the state he is in, it's possible that his mind is clouded already because of the pain.
Probably.
What if he is no longer able to keep his eyes open after a while?
Maybe no one gets the Sharma in the end. Yeah.
Be of assistance to anyone.
The guy is just like, I didn't want to die alone, so I became a pilot. Bemeli scans me, and I can tell that he still has reservations over my argument. I can't blame him. The guy will not give up on his own life over some pain. Yet, I stand by my reasoning and look at him firmly. Bemeli looks at me and then back down at the bottle. The others start to grow nervous over our battle of wills.
Hand back the medicine. The guide won't leave us behind as long as we follow diplomatically. We all must cooperate.
We focus our sight back onto the guide. Realizing he's become the center of attention, he haltingly gives us a nod. Bemeli clicks his tongue a few times before doing as I ask and handing the vial back to its owner. He feebly accepts the glass and uncaps it, downing half the vial without wasting any more time. I feel confident that the guide will continue to show us the way. However, Melee starts to grow frustrated when the guide does not immediately speak, pressing his heel into the wooden board below in anticipation. The guide softly rests his forehead against the side of his staff. His eyes droop slightly as he relaxes his muscles briefly. He waits patiently for the medicine to kick in, forcing the rest of us to do the same. After a brief pocket of time, the guide's labored breathing steadies as he slowly pulls himself onto his feet with his staff as leverage. Despite stumbling slightly in trying to get up, the spike in energy he receives from the medicine is noticeable.
We must continue now.
He doesn't waste that strength communing with us further. Instead, turning his back towards our small group, and with that brief statement finished, he starts down the bridge. I can still see him limping. I cannot deny that is worrying. He's already taking half the medicine. Would taking enough to properly walk be so much of a risk? Yes, we just died. Twice. I begin to follow after the guide, and the two with me follow behind, making sure to stay within the safe harbor of my light. Once I'm near him, I notice that he isn't becoming more stable in gait. I ponder over whether I should mention my thoughts to him or not. No, because he's gonna kill us. I say nothing. I bite my tongue and let the thought go. Now is not the time to be making even more of a fuss. The guide knows how to manage these types of situations. Creating another discussion will waste more of our time and accomplish nothing. It's already been settled and I need to keep it that way. Our groups moved at a much brisker pace than the previous night. After the exchange that just took place, the mood has sunk low into a murky pool. Not a word is exchanged between us. The only sounds that accompany us are the whispers of the demons in the lake and the pounding of our feet hitting the wood. After some time, we encounter a strange bridge. The oddity is noticeable immediately. The boards bend inward and become far narrower than the other bridges we've come across. The guide marches forward with no hesitation while the rest of us awkwardly halt in front of the unknown path. He calmly walks in the center of the boards. Halfway there, he begins to wobble. I suck in a breath as I can only watch. To my relief, the guide is able to steady himself and make it all the way across without another hitch. Now it is our turn. With only a single lantern share between us, we have to be mindful of how to cross without leaving anyone in darkness.
I will stay in the middle.
Okay, this we've already seen. They're gonna die anyway, right? Yeah, say nothing and then...
Stay here. What if...
And then she's gonna die. A seed of worry sprouts inside me. Will we make it? The guy ahead seems to have no sign of concern on his face. I hold on to the hope that we will be able to make it through. We near the very end of the bridges. I can smell the trees on the earth, and even through the fog I can almost count the remaining bridges between us and land. A prowler! But between the end and us, a prowler appears. A melee curses quietly as the prowler slowly, sloppily advances. I eye the monster intently. It makes no move to leave us, so I turn to the guide instead.
Here, take my lantern. Once it's scared off, we'll make our way to the shore. It shouldn't be an issue with it so close by.
The guide says nothing, however, he extends his hand to accept my offer. I feel my body tense for a moment before relinquishing my light to the guide. It's not much further. I'm sure we can make it. The guide slowly steps ahead. He and the creature brace for confrontation. Melee and I stay close enough to the guide's back to keep from being left behind in the darkness.
Be ready to run. Don't get left behind.
He then darts forward and launches the light directly at the prowler. It makes a snarling hiss as it retreats defeated back into the black waters. None of us waste even a second looking back. We push forward. I race across the bridges, desperately trying to keep the guide's light-edged figure in clear sight. I run as fast as I possibly can manage without slipping on the boards. We run across the entire way, spurred on by the shoreline rapidly approaching. Miraculously, I feel my feet plunge into dirt. I stumble forward, nearly collapsing on the ground while trying to catch my breath. It feels as though I've come out of a long dream. We made it.
Thank God. Oh.
Yeah, so the difference was the amount of the dose he took. But either way, either Margaret or him die. It seems. Leo, do you have a favorite video game? A Space for the Unbound. Yep. A Space for the Unbound is my favorite game. It used to be Doki Doki Literature Club, but then A Space for the Unbound took the crown because it's an amazing game and it's so precious and I love it and everyone should play it. It made me choke on my tears, drown in my sadness. It's amazing. Yes. Everyone should experience in one way or another A Space for the Unbound. Preferably buying it and playing it themselves, but it is also available for the Switch if you have one and don't want to buy it on Steam. It's so beautiful. Anyway, so they're alive. I rest there quietly for a few moments, taking time to allow my breathing and emotions to settle down. Finally, I look up from my lap and see Bemeli standing ahead of me. Both of her eyes are flowing with tears. Bemeli walks over and sits down in the dirt nearby. He gazes deeply into my eyes with a gentle smile grazing his lips. No words need to be exchanged between us to know that what the other is thinking. I'm glad for it because I'm not sure I would be able to speak even if I needed to. The sound of sloshing and wood lurching captures our attentions as the bridges begin to sink. In a few minutes, only the lonely dock is left. With that, the guide walks towards me.
It is time to leave this place. There is nothing left for you here.
Upon being addressed by him, I rise to my feet. He has a calm look on his face, though there is force behind his serenity. I open my mouth in an attempt to speak. However, I quickly realize I have little idea of what to say. Do I thank him for this? Should I give him my trust? Was our survival because of him or despite him? Even now I cannot know for certain. And then the fog is removed from my thoughts. After everything that has happened, it becomes clear. I harden my face to match his serious disposition. There is something he's certainly right of. The lake isn't a place to linger. Going round and round in circles will never help. We cannot submit ourselves or our minds to sin laws. For better or for ill, there is only one person who can help those once they are within its grasp. The guide. If he were removed, the place would be no safer. What I must do if I truly want to defend others is keep them from coming here at all. When I return to my village, I intend to make that information acutely known to our elder. For that to happen, we must leave.
Goodbye.
His eyes narrow as he looks over me. I begin to feel uncomfortable under his scrutiny, but for a moment I could swear I noticed him smiling slightly. However, it could easily be a trick of the morning sun. I look away to face Bemeli, not wanting to get caught up in this any longer.
Bemeli, we're leaving.
He lifts his head at my voice and grins, though his expression quickly sours into a frown. He shows no eagerness to move forward and keeps his distance. He still feels regret that it's only us who are leaving. I empathize greatly with him, knowing that feeling is one we will never escape from, even after the lake is far behind us. However, he manages to weakly smile again.
Those words are music to my ears. Let's set out.
Bemeli walks towards the forest without even acknowledging the guide. That is for the best, on the whole. We must get away from here. It saddens me to think Bemeli doesn't even have the strength to become angry. Though perhaps he had an epiphany about this lake in the same way that I did. We will be able to discuss that on another occasion. Despite the firmness I so intently tried to have, my heart starts to waver. Margaret, Lou, they're both still here. I wish to give them a proper farewell. I want to do something. My eyes begin to water and I almost turn back around. No. It is done. I need to remember that. They would never want me to ascribe their lives to sin laws. Nothing would disgrace their memory more. I will keep them in my thoughts, without allowing the lake to poison me. With my steadfastness truly regained, I march into the light with no hesitation. Oh, with a solemn heart, I at last arrived at Hammer. They were grateful to see me, for it was a desperate situation indeed. The urgency meant that my mind was occupied with other matters. I worked tirelessly to aid Hammer's own guards in forcing back the brigadiers. But during the moments of calm and when the sun went down, I would remember the lake. Mameli was a great help during the fight. His outwardly positive demeanor lifted the spirits of many around him, but I could see from the shadows in his eyes that he hadn't forgotten what we went through. Nor could I miss the distance that had grown between us. He spoke fewer words to me, and I never gave him many either, yet he seemed stronger than I had seen before. I admire his will. When receiving payments for his services, the guide must give a report of all of those who both succeeded and failed to cross the lake. The name and fate of Margaret soon became known in Hammer. I added that she was an intelligent, thoughtful person and urged them to show respect for her passing. I hope that one day I will have the opportunity to go to her hometown and give my own proper respects. I was finally able to learn the name of the stranger we met on the bridges. Blue. As the guide predicted, he did not survive. He had requested to cross and been denied. He must have truly been desperate to attempt the crossing alone. I can only pray that those who care for him will learn that the truth of what happened. I have not heard nor seen the guide since then. He will remain obscure in that realm of fog and fear, a mysterious light in the distance that is ever out of reach of the real world. I worry about when I must return home to my usual life. It will be difficult to continue as things were before. One thing I know for certain is that my village elder must be told that no one is to cross Sinless again. I have already told the Hammer leaders the same. Not a single more person should have to experience what we did. Its darkness will remain with me for the rest of my days. Though so much was lost, I try to believe that our lessons will keep the others from suffering the same way and, in the end, something will be gained. Persevere through all the hurt. Pain. It's a Steam achievement. So this is a true ending, because then the credits, well, one of the true endings, I guess. We didn't really get to meet Lou properly, I just left him behind. So it was weird to me when she was like, Margaret, Lou, and I was like, who is Lou? I kept my shocked expression the entire time. Great. Anyway. Man, I really like this story. It's really good. Sorry that I wasn't paying attention. Probably it looks funny. Oh yeah, the music is also very good in that game. I think the studio that made it, it's like an independent one, so it's an indie Indonesian game. It's so good and the music is so pretty, and I'm so sad whenever I think about it, but in a good way. Thank you for playing. About the game. I mean, some of the music can be heard without context. There are like 2 or 3 specific songs that have lyrics that hit better when you listen to them in context. So I would recommend that it's better to listen to the music in context rather than separately. But I leave that decision up to you. It's those 2 songs are at the end of the soundtrack, I think, anyway. Or almost at the end. But yeah. Wake Me From My Dream is like whenever I feel sad, I just put it on because it's so good. Okay, so I want to get all the endings right now, but I need to stop for today because I have to get ready for an event that I have later today, and I need to go buy some stuff. So I think I'm gonna make one more stream of this just to see the rest of the endings / routes, because we also need to see like what happens when Bameli dies in this instance instead of Margaret and all of that. Oh, what's the event? Oh, it's just like one of my old friends. It's their birthday, so they invited me over to eat and have fun. And I haven't seen them in a while, so I do want to go. And I need to go buy stuff. I need to go buy a present because I didn't have a chance during the week. So yeah. So that's what it is. But yeah, and it's soon-ish. Like, I can arrive at any time, but I want to be there as early as I can. I will tell them. Thank you. But yeah, so I need to end it here for today. It's been 2 hours and a half anyway, so I think that's good progress. I mean, we technically finished the game. Now I just need to 100% it because I'm just like that. But yeah. So, it is a very good story. I really, really like how it is technically not very long as well. The voice acting is very good. I really liked it. And it really makes a great like way to get you attached to the characters. Maybe not as deeply as maybe a longer run would, but it still makes you care enough that I felt so sad when I accidentally killed Bemeli, and I was like, no, Bemeli, and I felt less like I didn't feel. I felt bad about Margaret, but I was like, I would rather Bemeli survive if I have to choose between the two of them. Yee. Yeah, tell your friend the YouTube chat wishes them a happy birthday. They know I stream, so she would understand. Actually, I think this game was. Did I buy this game? I don't remember. Did I buy this game or was it for free? Because there are some really good visual novels out there that are for free, like the one we played that Khan got down bad for the Shovel Girl. It Gets So Lonely Here. If I remember correctly, that one's for free and it was so good. There was also, what's the name of it? Oh, Ballads at Midnight is also very good. It has like a similar-ish art style to this one. I don't think the developers are the same people, but it's also super good, and that one was free. What stream? It's the, I think it was stream number 3 or 4 of It Gets So Lonely Here. Also, Mori, did you get a Mori because I voted on the poll in Discord fashionably related, or it was tied to another game and I picked a Mori? No, I actually had I was originally going to buy another game, but then Pantry gave me a bunch of keys, of Steam keys, and I was able to get Valhalla for free thanks to that. So I am deeply grateful about that, because Valhalla is a game that I've been wanting to play for such a long time, and now I can without having to buy it. But I haven't gotten around to it. But I got a Mori because it was on like list. I every time they make like the big sales, which are the summer and the winter, I usually try to just buy on the winter one, but sometimes I get some other games that are like on the very cheap side during other sales. But I make like a budget, and based on that budget I pick the games that I am most interested in and that I could buy with said budget, and then if there are some that I can't decide on, I buy the ones you guys recommend me. In this case it was going to be Valhalla, but I ended up picking Omori because of the fact that I got Valhalla for free. So yeah, Pantry is awesome. Yeah, he is amazing. That's why we're always with him in spirit. Yeah, chocolate is always a good option if I can't find something proper. I know she likes giraffes, but I haven't seen anything giraffe related around, so I might have to just resort to that, unfortunately. But yeah. Budgeting is smart. My purchases are so infrequent that a budget would be ineffective. I spend money so little. Big giraffe plushie, if I can find one. But yeah. So yeah, it was partly because you guys voted for it, but also because I got Valhalla for free. And then I ended up buying, I think, another game anyway as well. That I'm gonna make you guys suffer through during my birthday, because it is my birthday and I get to decide which game I want to play. So yeah. Anyway. Says the guy who throws money everywhere, but it's super chat. I will not stop making fun of it, but please continue. Yeah, we have a lot of games yet to play. What is it called? Is My Vow to My Liege. Is a visual novel similar-ish to Amnesia Memories. That I just got because you as a main character are pretending to be a man. A prince, I think. And so BL ensues even though you're not a man. And I just got it because of a certain character that has blue hair that reminds me of another character that I like. That's the only reason why I wanted to play it. But yeah. Not really. Not really. It's more like a Mulan situation, I guess, if you've watched Mulan and you know about Pink and Shang. But yeah. My birthday is on August the 2nd, the best day on earth. August the 2nd. Put it on your calendars. Mulan was so good. Everyone watched Mulan. I know people that haven't. So that's why I'm like, if you've watched it. The original, please, for the love of God. The original, not the remake. The live action. I couldn't even finish that. God. But yeah. Spooky Day is better. No. My birthday is the greatest day on earth. Anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna be playing that on my birthday, probably. Also, if I put it on the family calendar, they'll be so confused. There is no remake. Yeah, we'll just pretend that there is no remake. Anyway, but with that, chat, thank you so much for coming. Thanks so much for being here and giving me a couple of your hours. By the way, do you rather me calling you chat or Snowbats? Because I know that some streamers just call their chat by their official name. But I'm so used to saying chat because for so long you guys had no name that I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. But, you know, just let me know, I guess. But with that, it's up to you. Okay. With that, my dear Snowbats. Day of the Lion. The family is something astronomical. I mean, my constellation or my sign, zodiac sign, is Leo. So, it would make sense. So, it would make sense in a way. I am a Leo. And no, that's not why my name is Leo, but it would make sense. Anyway. With that, my dear Snowbats, thank you so much for coming. Thanks so much for being here and giving me a couple of your hours. I hope you had fun. I hope this was an interesting game for you. It is very... I really, really liked it, and I am eager to find the other endings when we have the time. But for now, I will see you with a new cover on Saturday and next week with a new stream. Alright? Take care, everyone. I'm gonna go to the ending screen before I keep yapping. Oh, there you go. Bye. Wum, wum, wum. I really like the piano in the music of this game. It's really good. Anyway, guys, I'll be sure to make a just chatting stream so we can talk about. No new lore cover. But you guys do need to check out the rest. The last one I did is technically kind of lore, but at the same time not, because the lyrics don't really matter, but the illustration does in a way. But anyway, keep looking for that lore. And if people here that are listening to me right now don't know what I'm talking about, there is lore in some of my covers, and these two are trying to figure it out on the Discord server, so join the Discord server to uncover it with them, alongside them. Anyway, please make a lore shading, please. Give up. Okay, I'll try. Anyway, bye bye guys, bye!